Hello, everyone. I'm Elena, and I'm so glad to have you here today. Have you ever had that incredibly frustrating moment when a native English speaker talks and it just sounds like one long, fast, blurry word? Or perhaps you understand nearly everything you hear or read in English, but when it's your turn to speak, your mind just goes blank? You're not alone. Many advanced learners hit this wall, struggling not just with understanding fast, casual speech, but also with producing natural, confident English themselves. If you can understand English but struggle to speak it, you are part of a group that's been growing quickly in recent years. We call these individuals passive bilinguals, those who comprehend two languages but actively speak only one. This phenomenon is very common because more and more people are consuming content in English globally. These people understand English quite well, but the problem is they often don't have many opportunities to speak the language, so when they actually need to chat with someone in English, their mind goes blank. They just can't do it. Why do these challenges happen? And more importantly, how can you break through these barriers? Today, we're not just identifying the problems, we're diving deep into practical step-by-step strategies designed to train your ears, sharpen your listening skills, and transform you into a confident, fluent speaker of real English as it's spoken every single day. We'll explore core reasons for both comprehension and speaking difficulties, then immediately arm you with powerful exercises and real-life examples. Make sure you stay with me until the very end and practice along. Let's unlock what's really going on when you can't quite catch what native speakers are saying and discover how to express yourself fluently. To truly succeed in both understanding and speaking English, we must first adopt the right mindset. Many people approach English as just another academic subject, similar to math, physics, or chemistry. So when they try to improve their speaking, their instinct is to study English instead of practicing it. They focus intensely on learning more complex tenses, memorizing adverbs, prepositions, and all sorts of different grammar rules. But here's the crucial deal. Studying may help you get good scores on English exams, but it's not very useful in real-life conversations. Unlike taking tests where you have time to meticulously think through the right answers, real conversations demand quick, spontaneous responses. When the other person makes a comment or asks a question, you need to respond immediately. There's no time to pause and think about a specific grammar rule. There's no time to carefully construct each sentence in your head before you speak it. You see, speaking English is far more like a sport than an academic subject. It requires you to think and react quickly under pressure. To improve a fast-paced skill like this, you need a lot of active practice. Think about it. During a fluid conversation, you need to think about what to say, then come up with the right words, and finally construct your sentences on the spot. And you need to do all of this very, very quickly. It takes tremendous, consistent practice and real-world experience. So if you truly want to understand and speak English well, the very first step is to study less and practice more. This mindset shift is foundational for every strategy we're about to cover. A huge part of understanding everyday conversations is mastering the common reductions that native speakers use all the time. These aren't just informal shortcuts, they're fundamental to the natural flow and efficiency of spoken English. You'll hear them constantly, and recognizing them is your first big step to comprehension. Let's break down some of the most frequent ones you absolutely need to know. First, wanna, which is the reduced form of want to and expresses a desire or intention, like in I wanna go now. Second, gonna, short for going to, expresses a future intention or plan, as in she's gonna call you back. Third, gotta, a reduction of got to or have to, expresses obligation or necessity, so you'll hear, we gotta finish this report. Finally, gotcha, which is short for got you, and most commonly means I understand or I caught you. Like when someone says, oh, gotcha. Now I understand what you mean, or I threw the ball and he gotcha. These reductions occur because native speakers prioritize speed and ease of articulation. They blend sounds, drop weak syllables, and create a smooth, continuous stream of speech. If your ear isn't trained to spot these, entire phrases can become unintelligible. Now let's put these crucial reductions into action with a real-life scenario. I'm going to read a short, casual conversation. Your task is to listen very carefully for wanna, gonna, gotta, and gotcha, and understand what they mean in context. Here's a mini conversation. Listen once, then I'll break it down. Hey, you want to grab lunch? I'm going to be free in about an hour. And the reply. Sounds good. I got to finish this email first, but then gotcha. Did you catch all of them? Let's analyze it. You want to grab lunch? Means, do you want to grab lunch? I'm going to be free means, I'm going to be free. I got to finish this email means, I have to finish this email. And but then gotcha means, but then I understand and I'll be ready. See how seamlessly they fit into everyday talk? By specifically tuning your ear for these, you're already unlocking a huge part of native understanding. This isn't just about knowing the full form, it's about recognizing the sound of the reduced form instantly. Now that we've pinpointed those frequent reductions, let's look at the broader phenomenon of connected speech. This is why the way English is spoken in real life is so different from written English. Native speakers aren't just speaking fast, they're speaking efficiently. This means they naturally link their words, reduce other sounds, and even drop certain syllables altogether for a smoother, faster flow. Let me give you some crucial examples of these broader connected speech techniques. First, elision, which is sound dropping. Instead of, what did you eat? You'll often hear, what'd you eat? The did and you blend and simplify. Next is linking, where the end of one word flows into the start of the next. For instance, pick it up sounds like pie kid up, or turn off sounds like turn off. Lastly, T-flapping is common in American English, where the T sound in the middle of words like water or city sounds softer, almost like a D. So water becomes waiter, and city becomes city. If your ear isn't accustomed to these natural blending and sound changes, an entire sentence can become a blur. While textbooks teach clear formal sentences, real conversations are far more dynamic. This is why active listening practice with authentic materials is so vital. You need to immerse yourself in the natural rhythm, tone, and pace of real conversations, not just slow, isolated recordings. Now, let's move to a crucial practice that trains both your ear and your mouth, shadowing. This exercise builds muscle memory, allowing you to recognize sounds faster because your own vocal system has practiced producing them. For each phrase, I'll first say it as you might read it or pronounce it very clearly and formally. Then I'll show you how a native speaker naturally says it, blending the sounds. Your task is to repeat both, actively noticing the difference in pronunciation and flow. Ready? First, hear it as you might read it, or say it very carefully. Do you want to go to the store? But a native speaker will almost always say, do you want to go to the store? Now you try. Repeat, do you want to go to the store? Feel how the sounds link and compress. Next, think about this formal phrasing. What are you doing later? But what you'll really hear is, what you doing later? Now you try. Repeat, what you doing later? Notice how the T sound softens or disappears. One more, consider this common phrase, I have to get some work done, and how a native speaker naturally expresses it. I gotta get some work done. Now you try. Repeat. I gotta get some work done. Feel how have to naturally reduces to gotta, making it faster and smoother. This consistent shadowing practice is incredibly powerful. It helps your brain anticipate and process these native speech patterns because your own vocal apparatus has practiced them. Now let's tackle another fundamental reason it's hard to understand native speakers. Your brain isn't yet trained to process English fast enough. When you listen in your native language, your brain effortlessly decodes sounds and grasps meaning. But with English, especially if you're not fully immersed, your brain has to work harder. It has to decode sounds, apply grammar rules, retrieve vocabulary, and understand context, all in real time. This cognitive load slows down your comprehension. This is precisely why reading English often feels easier than listening. Reading gives you time to process. Listening demands instant understanding. The only way to bridge this gap is to train your brain like a muscle with frequent, focused listening. This is where active listening becomes your superpower. It's more than just hearing. It's engaging directly with the audio. Here's your step-by-step guide to active shadowing practice. First, choose a short clip of a native speaker. An interview, a vlog, a podcast, something natural. Second, play just one sentence or a very short phrase, perhaps 5 to 10 seconds. Third, immediately pause the audio. Fourth, repeat exactly what you heard. Don't worry about perfect pronunciation yet. Just focus on mimicking the sounds, intonation, and rhythm as closely as possible. Fifth, repeat that same sentence several times. This reinforces the sound pattern in your brain. And finally, move to the next sentence. Even 5 minutes a day of this focused practice is enough to build significant recognition over time. Let's do a quick exercise together to practice recognizing these common native phrases. I'll give you a few native phrases, and I want you to repeat them exactly as I say them. Focus on the sound, not the spelling. Ready? First, could have told you that. This means I could have told you that. Now repeat. Could have told you that. Hear how could have compresses. Next, shouldn't have said that. This means I shouldn't have said that. Now try. Shouldn't have said that. Notice the double contraction. Another one. I don't know. This means I don't know. Repeat. I don't know. This is a very common informal reduction. You're doing great. This active repetition builds the neural pathways for faster understanding. To truly master understanding, you need to expose yourself to diverse accents. English is a global language, spoken with unique variations in America, the UK, Australia, Canada, and many other countries. Even within one country, accents can shift dramatically. Think about the nuanced differences between a general American accent versus a Southern American accent, or a London accent versus a Scottish accent. The more you listen to various English speakers, the more flexible your ear becomes, and the wider your recognition patterns will be. This is crucial for real-world conversations, where you won't always encounter the same accent you're used to. Another critical tip for active listening: listen without subtitles or use them strategically. Subtitles can be helpful at the very start of a learning phase, but if you constantly rely on them, your brain never develops the ability to process spoken English independently. It's like a crutch that prevents your listening muscle from truly strengthening. Here's a smart way to use or ditch subtitles. First, initial pass. Watch a short scene or listen to an audio clip with subtitles to grasp the general plot or topic. Second pass and beyond. Rewatch or re-listen to the exact same clip without subtitles. Focus on catching the meaning purely through sound. Third, go audio only. Challenge yourself with podcasts or audiobooks where there are no visual cues. This forces your brain to rely entirely on auditory input. Always remember, the goal is to catch the main idea, not every single word. Even native speakers don't hear every word perfectly all the time, but they still understand because they use context, tone, and familiarity with expressions. You are training yourself to do the same. Let's put this into practice with a comprehension exercise. I'll tell you a short story, spoken naturally. Your goal is to listen carefully for the main idea and key details, without worrying about every single word. Then I'll ask you some questions. Here we go. Yesterday, I was walking down the street when I bumped into an old friend I hadn't seen in years. We decided to grab coffee at a nearby cafe. We talked for hours about life, work, and memories from school. It felt like no time had passed at all. Now, without looking back or overthinking, first, who did I meet? Second, what did we decide to do? And third, what did we talk about? This exercise trains your brain to extract meaning in real time, even with the natural imperfections of spoken English. Now that you understand why native English can sound so difficult, let's talk about a revolutionary shift in your approach to make faster progress. Stop translating everything into your native language. This habit creates a frustrating delay, a gap between what you hear and what you truly understand. Instead, commit to thinking directly in English as much as possible. You don't need to be perfect. Even small steps will create profound change. Here's your step-by-step approach to cultivate thinking in English. First, start with simple labels. When you see objects around your home, mentally say their English names like table and chair or lamp. Second, narrate simple actions. As you perform routine tasks, describe them in your mind. For example, I'm boiling the water for tea. I need to get the mug. The water is bubbling. Third, describe your immediate environment. Look around and mentally articulate what you see, such as the sky is blue, the tree is green, there are cars on the street. Finally, practice simple opinions or feelings. For instance, I'm hungry, this coffee is good, I feel tired. This seemingly small habit builds direct connections in your brain, eliminating the need for that slow, cumbersome translation step. This directly accelerates your real-time comprehension. Furthermore, consciously focus on listening for meaning, not individual words. Native speakers themselves don't analyze every single syllable. They grasp the overall message. For example, if someone says, "He's been working like crazy lately," you might not catch every sound perfectly, but the vivid phrase, "working like crazy," immediately conveys intense effort. Train your brain to seek the big picture, the core message, rather than getting stuck on missed small words. Let's practice understanding those natural shortened responses common in casual English. Listen carefully to this mini conversation and then explain what happened. "Hey, you coming to the party tonight?" And the reply, "Can't. Got tons of work. Maybe next time." Now, what do you understand from that brief exchange? Person A is inviting someone to a party. Person B clearly communicates they can't come because they have a lot of work. Notice how person B didn't use full sentences like, "I cannot come because I have a lot of work." Native speakers often skip those extra words, but the message is still perfectly clear. Training your ear to understand these concise, natural responses is incredibly important for real-world interactions. Now let's refine your ear and voice further. It's not just what words are said, but how they are said. Every language has its own unique musicality, and English is a stress-timed language. This means that certain words are stressed more strongly, carrying the primary meaning, while other words are reduced or de-emphasized. The time between these stressed words tends to stay consistent, creating a unique rhythm. This is crucial because stressed words are often where the core meaning is carried. Native speakers don't pronounce every word with equal emphasis or volume. They naturally stress content words like nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs, because these carry the most meaning. Meanwhile, function words like articles, prepositions, auxiliary verbs are often reduced or almost swallowed. If you're used to stressing every word equally, English will sound very strange and difficult to follow. But when you start hearing and internalizing this rhythm, understanding native speech becomes significantly easier. Let's do a small rhythm practice to help you feel the beat of English. I'll give you a sentence and I want you to listen intently to the stress pattern, then repeat it with me. First sentence, "I really like your new jacket." Now listen again, specifically for the emphasized words. "I really like your new jacket." The stressed words are really, or I like in new and jacket. Try saying it with that rhythm, giving those stressed words more prominence. Next sentence, "She's been working on that project all day." The stress here falls on been, working, project, and day. When you practice this way, you train your ear to notice what native speakers naturally emphasize. This is a game changer for catching the core meaning, even if other smaller words fade into the background. To further boost your comprehension, learn to predict what comes next in a sentence. This powerful skill is called contextual prediction, and native speakers do it instinctively. For example, if someone says, I'm going to the your brain instantly starts sifting through possibilities: store, gym, office, mall. This mental pre-filling based on context significantly reduces your cognitive load and helps you stay ahead of the speaker. This skill also helps you stay more relaxed while listening, which is incredibly important because stress and nervousness can severely block your listening abilities. If you're tense and worried about catching every single word, that anxiety actually reduces your brain's capacity to process sounds quickly. So allow yourself to relax. Remind yourself that even native speakers don't catch every word all the time. It's okay to miss a word or two. Instead, focus on the overall meaning, the speaker's tone, and their emotional state. Are they happy, angry, tired? These cues often convey the message even if some words remain unclear. Let's do a final listening and guessing practice to tie everything together. I'll read a sentence quickly and casually, and you guess the full meaning, focusing on the context and overall message. First, can you grab it for me? That means, can you pick that thing up for me? Next, I'll be there in a second. That means I will arrive very soon, in a second. Another one. Don't sweat it. That means don't worry about it, it's fine. Keep listening for phrases like these in real-life English. Write them down, practice saying them aloud, and notice how effortlessly native speakers use them. The more you immerse yourself in casual speech, the more confident and competent you'll become. You're doing a great job so far. Remember, true understanding in native English isn't about being perfect. It's about consistent practice, recognizing patterns, and patience. Now let's specifically address how to move from understanding to actively speaking, particularly if you find yourself a passive bilingual. Remember how you learned your first language? You didn't study grammar. You learned by copying the words and phrases your parents and other adults used. You learned through imitation. So, if you want to speak English well, use the same natural approach. Learn to speak English by imitating native speakers. It's honestly the best, most natural way to get started. When you repeat after a native speaker, you're not just mimicking sounds, you're internalizing natural sentence structures. You're practicing vocabulary and context, and you're instinctively improving your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. I mean, this practice is so incredibly powerful. It's exactly why my own speaking has improved a lot since my very first YouTube videos. I've been using this method for a very long time now, and it works. Let me show you how to practice this deep imitation effectively. I'll say a phrase, and then you'll repeat it exactly as I do. Focus on my pronunciation, my speed, and my intonation, making it your own. Listen carefully. All right, so my favorite food has to be pizza. Now you try. Repeat that. All right, so my favorite food has to be pizza. Next phrase. Seriously, I could eat it every day. Now you try. Repeat. Seriously, I could eat it every day. Or perhaps you can simplify slightly if you prefer. I could eat pizza every day. Listen to this one. I like to have it while watching a movie or when I have friends over. Now you try. Repeat. I like to have it while watching a movie. Or to generalize, I like to have pizza while watching a movie. And finally, but honestly is the perfect food for any occasion. Now you try. Repeat. It's the perfect food for any occasion. Or, putting it all together, pizza is the perfect food for any occasion. As you can see, this method is incredibly beginner-friendly for speaking. If you currently don't feel confident forming sentences on your own or engaging in spontaneous conversation, this is the perfect starting point for you. Give it a try. Now, to truly level up your fluency and move beyond just imitation, you need to actively engage in spontaneous conversations. Variety is incredibly important for skill development, and speaking English is no exception. If you only copy native speakers and never actually talk to anyone, your progress will inevitably be slow. Unlike imitation practice, chatting with someone requires you to search for words from your memory and form sentences completely on your own in real time. The benefit of this is obvious. When you actively recall a word and use it in a sentence, that word gets stronger in your memory and becomes much easier to recall in the future. And the more you construct sentences by yourself, the better and faster you get at it. So, conversation practice is absolutely essential for improving your speed and fluency. Ideally, you should chat with someone who's fluent in English, someone who uses a wide range of vocabulary and speaks with consistently proper grammar. This is precisely where AI chatbots come into play. Modern AI chatbots like ChatGPT or Gemini speak absolutely fluent English. If you practice with them, you don't need to worry about picking up incorrect grammar or mispronunciations. It's often much more effective than chatting with other learners who might reinforce errors. And unlike human native speakers, these chatbots are available 24/7. This makes them the easiest, most accessible way to practice English conversation anytime, anywhere. Here's a quick clip of me practicing with a chatbot so you can see how natural and helpful it is. Hi, I want to practice speaking English. Can you help me? Of course. What's something you're interested in discussing? I'm not sure. Can you suggest a topic? How about we talk about your day? Yeah, we can do that. The problem is, my English isn't very good. So, can you talk about your day first? I want to hear an example and maybe learn some useful words and phrases from you. Sure. Today I started my morning with a cup of coffee. Then I. Okay. Let's go slowly. You started your morning with a cup of coffee, right? Yes, exactly. Then I worked on some projects. Okay, you worked on some projects. Got it. What else did you do? In the afternoon, I took a break and went for a walk. Later, All right, so you took a break and went for a walk. That was. That must have been great, right? It was great. The weather was nice and it was relaxing. As you can see, this is a fun, flexible, and incredibly interactive way to practice speaking. So, in addition to imitation practice, make sure to integrate talking to an AI chatbot into your routine as well. Trust me, you'll improve much faster if you mix up your practice like this. At first, you don't have to practice with a chatbot every single day. Maybe start with once or twice a week and gradually increase the frequency as you get more comfortable. But honestly, it's entirely up to you how often you want to do it. Whatever chatbot you're using, there's a good chance it can even understand your native language. So if your English isn't very good yet, you can start by explaining what you want to do, how you want to practice in your native language. Then you can smoothly switch to English for the practice itself. I truly wish these powerful chatbots had been available when I was starting out. My speaking would have improved so much faster. It's genuinely so much easier to improve your spoken English today than ever before. So take full advantage of these incredible AI chatbots. Now, as we wrap up, let's talk about how you can integrate these powerful strategies into a daily routine to accelerate your understanding and speaking of native English. Like any skill worth mastering, progress absolutely depends on consistency. Even just 15 to 20 minutes a day of focused, active listening and speaking practice can lead to noticeable improvements within a few short weeks. The absolute key is to choose real, natural English sources. This means authentic movies, genuine interviews, engaging podcasts, unscripted YouTube videos, and actual conversations where people speak the way they do in real life, not simplified or overly formal lesson materials. When you choose a piece of audio or video, engage with it actively, not passively. Don't just play it in the background, interact with it. Here's your ultimate step-by-step active listening and speaking routine. First, prepare. Sit down in a quiet space with a notebook, a pen, or a digital note-taking app. Second, listen in short bursts. Play just a tiny segment, maybe 10 to 20 seconds. Third, transcribe what you hear. Write down everything you catch. This forces your brain to truly focus on the sounds. Fourth, rewind and re-listen. If you miss something, don't worry. Rewind and listen again. Repeat this several times. Fifth, confirm if needed. Only after multiple listens, check the subtitles or a transcript if available to see what you missed. Note the differences between what you heard and what was actually said. Sixth, shadow now. Play that same short segment again and repeat it out loud immediately after the speaker. Mimic their rhythm, intonation, and connected sounds. This part is crucial for both understanding and your own pronunciation. Finally, repeat and internalize. Repeat that segment several times until your mouth and ears both feel comfortable with its flow. This process might feel slow at first, but it is, without a doubt, one of the fastest and most effective ways to build natural listening and speaking ability. Let's do one final shadowing exercise together, integrating all the elements of connected speech, rhythm, and natural flow we've discussed. I'll say a sentence casually, then repeat it slowly for clarity, and you try to shadow both versions seamlessly. First casual version. Want to grab lunch later? Now slower for clarity. Do you want to grab lunch later? Now you try. Repeat both versions with me, feeling the difference. Again. Can't believe it's already Friday. Slower for clarity. I cannot believe it is already Friday. Now you try. Try saying that smoothly, letting the words blend. Another one. He's going to help us out. Slower for clarity. He is going to help us out. Now you try. Notice how the sounds link and reduce in casual speech, then try to replicate it. Practicing this way profoundly improves both your listening comprehension and your natural speaking fluidity. And here's a powerful self assessment tool: record your own progress. Once a week, record yourself speaking English about your day or retelling a short story you heard in English. Then listen back to native content and compare your own rhythm, pronunciation, and flow to theirs. You'll begin to pinpoint exactly what sounds different and where you can improve. You don't need a teacher for every single step. Your ears and your own voice are incredibly powerful tools for self-correction and deep learning. Let me share a quick story of a learner named Zara. She had been studying English for 5 years and could read and write very well. But whenever she watched a movie or tried to speak with a native speaker, she felt lost and frustrated. So she decided to change her method completely. Every single morning, she dedicated just 2 minutes to a short podcast from a native speaker. She listened to the exact same clip 3 times. First, just to hear. Second, to write down every word she could catch. And third, to repeat it aloud, shadowing the speaker. After just 1 month, Zara said she started catching phrases that used to fly completely over her head. She even understood jokes in English for the very first time. That's how transformative, focused, consistent listening can be. For her speaking, she later added daily practice with an AI chatbot, and that's when she truly became an active, confident speaker, able to converse freely on any topic. So, as we bring today's deep dive to a close, remember this crucial truth. Understanding and speaking native English isn't about magic, it's about method. We've uncovered why it feels challenging, all those linked words, hidden reductions, and colorful idioms, plus the mental block of passive bilingualism. But more importantly, we've armed you with the precise tools to master the mindset of practice, to train your ear for reductions and connected speech, to think directly in English, to decode real-life rhythms, to predict meaning with confidence, to deepen your speaking with imitation, and to leverage AI chatbots for unlimited conversation practice. The path from passive to active bilingual isn't about magic. It's about consistent action. Your mind is already brimming with English comprehension. Now it's time to unlock your voice and let it flow freely. Now, I have a challenge for you. Pick just one strategy we discussed today, perhaps a specific shadowing exercise, or trying to think in English during your morning routine, or starting your first conversation with an AI chatbot, and commit to it for the next 3 days. Come back and tell me in the comments below what you noticed. Your journey to mastery begins with that first consistent step. If this lesson unlocked a new level of understanding and confidence for you, give this video a thumbs up. Your support fuels these lessons, and I'm so grateful for it. Keep those ears open. Keep practicing with real English every single day. And remember, every sound you decode is a victory, and every conversation brings you closer to fluency. Until our next lesson, take care and keep embracing the beautiful complexity of the English language. Bye for now.